Welcome in Pesky Pole YouTube channel. We got some Out of the Park Baseball 25 up. And one of the strengths of this game, and I don't play as much as I used to. I've really been into the as played games, the historical replay games, and Out of the Park Baseball 25 does that, but it doesn't do it as well as other games or the way I like. But what it does do is the management portion and recreating history and so forth. So I'm going to kind of do a set this up and make it where I create or I kind of start off the New York Mets franchise. The Mets started in 1962, and we're going to do the whole idea um, of a draft, expansion draft, the whole thing. So first, I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do it with not real players either. But we go historical game first. Go to historical game. Um, we're not going to do the complete history because I'm going to kind of get rid of the history in a second. So we're going to start in 61, the year before. Okay. And then career mode's fine because you're going to kind of change these things anyway. So 61, we're going to go to. Import real minor league, that's fine. That's fine there too. We're going to do development and engine there. Hold amateur drafts. Yes. Automatically expand league and hold expansion draft. Yes. All right. So we're going to do all this. And this is kind of, I don't like doing the star rating. 2080, all that. So this is kind of your own thing you can do. So Major League Baseball, we're going to start in 1961. So we're going to play a season out. I'm the GM and manager. I like doing that there. Use the hard training mode. Playing commissioner mode for now. We're gonna change this off and cannot be fired. I'm not gonna. I want to take over the Mets and from expansion on. So we're doing this here. And it just kind of goes through here and does this. I'm checking. And this is kind of loading it back up there. So this takes a little bit, but um, so what we're gonna do as I'm doing this real quick. So I'm gonna kind of go in. And the real players are automatically going to be into the game, okay? But I'm going to get rid of the real players because I like to have fictional players on the park baseball because you don't get kind of annoyed with a player not becoming the player you want him to be and so forth. Okay, that's how I do those things. So I'm not going to choose a team right now because I'm going to be the Mets, and the Mets aren't viable right now. So we're going to kind of go in, start the game. There we go. So the first one to do here is I'm going to go and clear rosters. And I'm going to go down here to free agents. Everyone's a free agent now. All players. I'm going to click on this thing here. This is the only commissioner mode you can do this in, by the way. So if you can't do this, you're not in commissioner mode. So I'm going to right click here, delete all the players. So the players are all gone. and we'll bring in some new players in a second. So all this stuff here, this a lot of this stuff is kind of how you want it to look. Do you want owner goals? I don't really like owner goals. And since I'm not going to get fired, it doesn't really matter. Um, I like having all the major leagues. I like having all this here. Once again, some of this stuff, if you do it, it takes up a lot of memory too. So you can change this later on if it takes up too much memory in the end. Storylines is fine. I want storylines to go along with my fictional guys. That's the other thing too. When I have like the real players and storylines happen, like for me, that bothers me because like, oh, whatever. But when there are fictional players, like, oh, okay, so you don't have any of that prejudice in terms of that player should be this or they be that. So um, let's go normal. Um, let's go normal. We'll go low. Able suspensions, hide injury. I like the hide injury rating because I like to see how often they get injured. Like the guys don't have actual injury ratings. Like you don't have an injury rating for Mike Trout in real life, right? You just know he's been injured a lot lately. Um, I don't like the nicknames. Get rid of that stuff. Okay. Okay. So keep career stat. I like keeping them all. I like keeping them all. Postseason stats is major league only. And I like keeping the batter versus pitcher marks. All right. So we got that done. Face gen. We got the face gen. Yes. All players. Free agents wear suits. And baseball cards. I like all that stuff. Those are cool things. Ratings weight. So this is like a suggestion someone made on my YouTube channel, actually, which makes sense. Um, it's going to make it harder. Okay, um, so the idea being that the ratings, you see the ratings, the AI does not. Um, and so if you make it 100%, then you don't have that advantage, if that makes sense. Makes it tougher. Um, as opposed to you see a ratings drop, but he had a great year last year, and the AI is all is kind of leveraging what he did last year to do that stuff. So that's why. Another way you can play it too is kind of fog of war, where you turn the ratings off um, and keep it that way too. Makes it even tougher when I do it that way. Rely on your scouts. So there's different ways you can do it to make it a little bit harder. Um, but once again, that's kind of up to you and how you want to do things. Archive reports, um, league settings. Okay, we've got all the teams there. Rules. Okay, active roster size. Expand the roster. I don't like. I don't. I hate to expand the roster size. I hate bringing up guys late like that. So, and draft. We've got that. We've got that. All right. So historical. Let me click over this real quick. So you want to get rid of import historical rookies. So going back to here again. All right. So now this right here, disable automatic creation of free agents and fictional draft class. You want to unclick that if you're going to have fictional guys. All right. So that's taken care of there. Um, allowed trades in major leagues. Okay, got all that done. The draft, we'll keep it like that. Draft rounds. I want to kind of cut that back a little bit. Let's go 25 and then 33 players available. Do it like that. All right. Financials. That looks good. Make sure we have free agency. Okay, this is reserve because we're gonna kind of get rid of the reserve clause and do free agency. Free agency wouldn't come a little bit later on, but we're gonna go free agency. So we're gonna change up history a little bit. All right, so that's that. Um, let's do compensation for the free agents. Let's do how they do it currently. Do the qualifying offer and do that. Revenue sharing is enabled. We'll do that. Luxury tax enabled. Do all that. All right, so it's kind of like the modern ways, but with those things there. Okay, options. I kind of like to limit my rewards here. This is all preference. I like Gold Glove. I don't like the Silver Slugger thing, and the Platinum, all that stuff. All right, we've got that. Manual Hall of Fame. Got that. I get rid of spring training. Um, All-Star game. Where was the All-Star game played in 61? I should know this. It was in San Francisco. All right. So we'll put it in San Francisco there. And do that. Got the World Series, no division, no wild cards. Got that. All right. For the players, we have no players right now, so we have to kind of get the default player origin. Um, so we're gonna kind of do this here to set things up. Um, 93% Americans, and then we're gonna do Dominican Republic 7%. This is kind of the ratings back in 61. Yeah, 7% Latin players. We'll go Dominican Republic for now. And we're going to add more of those guys later on too. So got that done. Amateur draft pool origin. Um, I don't like doing this. So 94. We'll go 3-3. Puerto Rico and Canada. International amateur free agents. We'll do that here. Um, we'll do that cap right there. That's good. Discoveries for team 16. Um, Free agents here. So we're just going to do Japan and Cuba here. Japan and Cuba. We'll do 50-50 right there. And then here we're going to go. We're just going to go Dominican and Venezuela and do that. So we'll do about 90% from Dominican Republic, 10% from Venezuela. Kind of keep it like that. Once again, all preference here. I'm just gonna this is kind of my own thing and so forth doing that. All right, historical. expansion draft. So it's kind of important we do this. So you should only can protect 25 guys on the team. That's kind of what they do in the past. Um, import all those things there. Okay, got that done. Stats AI. Let's see. They do 5-man back then. Did they do 5-man rotation 61? And that's kind of the 61 thing there, and it's set up that way. Okay, and we're gonna automatically adjust these when advance next season. Okay, so we'll keep it like that. All right, so that's all set up. So now we have to come in here and we got to fill teams fictional players. You click on no. I do all the minor leagues here. Do you want them set up? This is asking you, do you want the creative player actually to be turned according to the team settings or the league player creation? Okay, we're going to league player creation. What I set up is no. Okay, so I set up the league player creations. Keep that. Fill team fictional roster. So you're going to have teams kind of go through here and fill these guys up. Oh, no, 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 no. What'd I do? So we're going to fill these guys up. I'm just kind of going through. It takes a while to set up, but I actually enjoy this stuff. I probably enjoy setting up leagues more than actually playing them. Midwest League, kind of go through all this right here. And this kind of just gives you more players in the league. Kind of gives you a nice base. And there should be about 7% of the players are from going to be um, from the Dominican Republic, and 93% from America. And that's kind of how it was in 61 at that point. And then, of course, the league will take on its own kind of character from that point on in terms of Dominican players coming in, the guys from Japan, the guys from Cuba coming in, Venezuela coming in, Canadians in the draft. You start having some flair in terms of that stuff there too. Just gives a little more immersion. All right, so that's all set up. So now I'm going to go into financials. Um, I'm going to do this real quick. Philippines fictional coaches and scouts. Now go into financials. Assign fictional contracts to players and personnel and do that. Click save. And there we go. So we're going to go all the way until the regular season ends. We're going to simulate this up here. As you can see in 61, you've got the American League with 10 teams, the National League with 8 teams, and in 62, you're going to have the Mets come in, and it's Houston, right? The Colt 45s, I believe. So we'll watch the season kind of play off a little bit. I will take over the Mets. And of course, we'll probably be pretty bad. We'll see. Yes, Houston Colt 45s, so the expansion team. So we'll see how that kind of plays off. So this will kind of simulate it here. We're kind of going through the Angels and the Cardinals right now, out to an early lead, and see if there's anyone going to break the. Of course, 61 is famous for the 61 home runs by Mantle Ramirez. So we'll see if how that's going. You got Melvin Valadez from Detroit with 13 homers. The two Angel guys, Mike Adams and Dan Lauersdorf, kind of the Mantle and Maris doing their damage there. So 17 homers right there. That's on pace here. We're in June. And they got 17 home runs. Pitching wise, it's like we've got Angels look pretty good. They got a good pitcher there, Eric Makowski. But the White Sox have taken over. Angels have slipped back a little bit. And this Kyle Rasso for the White Sox. Milwaukee Braves, great race in the National League. You've got 5 teams within 4.5 games right now. That's going down to the wire here. 25 homers now. And they're creating base. I think they're doing baseball cards for the All-Star teams now. So this is the All-Star selection. So at the All-Star break, you got two guys 25 home runs. You got a guy with 22 and 21 over in the National League doing that. White Sox now are opening up a 7.5 game lead. Lauersdorf for 30 home runs. As this kind of goes through to let the 61 season play out with fictional players, real teams, fictional players. We're now in August. As this goes through, Red Sox 24 games back. Yankees 29 games back. So the Yankees and the Red Sox not very good in this new fictional world we're starting off. August 14th. Cardinals and the White Sox have taken some pretty good leads here. And Dan Lauersdorf for the Angels with 40 home runs. His teammate Mike Adams, 37 home runs. The WAR leader for the is the White Sox, Malcolm Stryker. So Stryker has got 33 stolen bases. Must be maybe a five tool guy. I have to check him out. He appears to be the best player in the league. In the National League, we've got John Williams or David Coleman, kind of munched up there. The Cardinals got two guys. Holt Hawk, here's a great name. All right, so I think that's it. The season's over. Let's see. This is the last day of the season, October 1st, 1961. So let's kind of take a look at um, the standings here. So they have both clinched. How's their match number only four? There's the Cardinals to play on. That's interesting. So the Phillies are still in there. So 46 home runs. Let's kind of do this real quick. There we go. So Cardinals and White Sox in the World Series. So standings wise, let's kind of take a look here. 107 wins for the White Sox. I want to check out this guy here, Malcolm Stryker. Center fielder. He can do it all. He's a free agent after 62 season. He's 28 years old. He's out with a torn labrum. Oh, wow. So he got hurt at the end of the year, so he won't be in the World Series. He walks a ton, so he won't be in the World Series. Let's check and see. The White Sox, Malcolm Stryker's out. White Sox first on base in the American League, runs against, ERA. So they got their ability by pitching, but they got an injury there. So pitching's kind of what how got them there. Let's take a look at the Cardinals real quick. And the Cardinals have no injuries. Good pitching as well. Kind of a balanced offense. So you got to think the Cardinals. Look at Colt Hawk. I like this guy here. Left fielder. All right. So I think the Cardinals on their best player. See what happens here. A little quick play. Game one. White Sox win 2-1. Cardinals even the series 1-1. Day off. Back to St. Louis. 10-3 Cardinals. A pretty big. Chicago, St. Louis, pretty close together geographically. So a pretty short trip there. Cardinals win 10-3. I think the Cardinals are going to win this series. White Sox missing their best player. White Sox with a shutout 7-0. We are tied at 2. White Sox up 3-2. White Sox go back home, try to win the World Series. And they win the World Series. Let's see what the big thing for the White Sox. Hit 500. This guy at 400 and 400. So they did not miss their best player, which is interesting there. All right. So let's kind of go through and kind of finish and see when the expansion team happens. There's your champion. Here's that Mike Adams guy. He's got some power. He's a free agent at the end of the year, too. Will the Mets go after and get him? We have to go get them. So let's take a look here. We've got Hall of Fame voting. Off season starts. Let's see when they do the expansion here, how they do this. Expansion draft. So here we go. So at this point, I should be able to take over the Mets. There they are. So I am now taking over the Mets. At this point now, I'll get out of commissioner mode. That's not fair. We'll go through the salary arbitration. Expansion draft. All right, so we'll go through and do the awards announcement. So that's for the awards. So we'll get to that in a second. So we're going to do free agency or the draft first. You got the regular draft first. There's the award there. There's the Scion Award. We got some free agents now, so we got a couple of guys here. Let me check my front office and see how much money I have to spend. Player payroll. So I got some money to spend here. Let's go to the little draft pool here. hmm So I thought the Mets always got the first draft, but an expansion team draft order. So I guess, is that right? Did the Mets and the expansion teams get the last two draft picks of the first round? That's kind of messed up. Maybe because they get the expansion draft too. That's kind of messed up. Let me kind of go through here real quick. I gotta set up this stuff. All right, setting player strategies. Oh, I gotta fill up my Let me fill my bench coach. I like to kind of just run the roster more than anything else. The transactions, trades, drafting players, budget because my GM, personnel. And then get the minor leaguers in there. All right, let's get to the draft. So that's kind of how you can do it now. So though at that point, that's how you kind of set things up with it. You're and have a team now. You kind of go through all these things here. But that's how you can kind of create your expansion draft or expansion team, take over an expansion team, and kind of work from there. So that's just one more way to play out of the park baseball 25. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.